Welcome, this is Power Mouth and I'm Glena, your host. Today I'm speaking to Joanne Johnson. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Now, Joanne Johnson, I follow her on Instagram, okay? And when I go on Instagram and I have been peeping on your posts, okay?
As we do on the great, yeah.
I have been peeping, okay, on your posts. It's fabulous. You know what? You always bring a smile on my face. You always do. You're quite, well, what I get from looking at your posts, you are quite a funny character. There's a lot of humor there as well, so it always leaves me smiling. I pick up strength from your posts. You seem to be an advocate for women, for health, personal development.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Fitness. Oh Lord, we're going to go there. We are going to go there regarding fitness. So, Joanne, tell me what it is that, tell me what is your why to what you do.
Okay. So when I first started out on social media, it really was just a platform that I think everyone just kind of like, oh, Instagram's about, Facebook's around, and it wasn't really anything that I was posting of substance to say. It was just a place that we would just meeting and connecting with people. But as time went on, I began to see the gram as a place where you're able to share a message as opposed to obviously being your own personal person. And I just decided that the post and the content and creation, that things that I want to put out there, want it to be surrounded around the things that's kind of built me as a person after going through certain things that I'd been through in my life. So for me, that's why you probably see the things that you mentioned in regards to funniness. That's part of my character. I love to laugh. You know, I love to laugh. And empowerment of women and strength is one of the things that you've obviously mentioned, and that's something that I haven't always had. So, and I've had to go through certain things to see people. Like I see a lot of people use the word. Would I say I'm a strong person? I would say that I'm someone that is becoming, always building on strength and always becoming. So I wouldn't say that. I think sometimes the word strong can be used as a word, and people just automatically just think that we are that character in itself, but you've had to sometimes go through things to build up on your strength and to become the person that you are. I hope that made sense.
That absolutely it does make sense that, so, you know, strength is a continuous thing. You know, you have to gather your strength in life. You go through certain things. I must say, I have been looking forward to this interview as I was getting ready today. I just had a smile on my face. Because you're that kind of person that you put a smile on people's faces.
Oh, that's good.
When I see your post, you make me laugh. You can see the humour there. You're all about your family as well, your beautiful family, and big up to your family.
Thank you. Soon to be a Lewis. Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you.
You know, beautiful. So, as you know, Power Mouth is about challenges that we face, that we've all been through. Yeah. We know that life is not easy. Girl, we know that life is not easy. But we're here. And I see that when you're on Instagram, you are pushing out messages that encourage people, that motivate, I think women specifically as well, because obviously you relate to being a woman, a mother, a wife. But what challenges have led you to the place that you are currently now?
So for me personally, when you mentioned the stuff about encouragement and all the things, for me, my journey really started on self-love about over 10 years ago. And it first started when we, as a family, we lost our middle son. So my mum had 3 boys, and my eldest one is Lorenz. He's 23 this year. And then we had our second son, his name was Lawrence, and he passed when he was 8.5 months old. So it's been a transition, and it's been a journey with so many different aspects, in the sense of losing myself, in a sense of not being a great mother, in a sense of not being a great wife. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm here to be honest, be truthful. And when you go through something like that, it comes to the point where I actually generally felt as if like my life, it was at a standstill. And from the journey that I took then to now, it's been something that I've wanted to share purely because when you go through something like that, you actually probably feel at the time that there's going to be no ending. There's going to be nothing in sight. There's nothing after. Does that make sense? So for me, I just kind of felt from message from God to say to me, look, listen, you've been here, you're here now, and you have a duty to tell others, whoever it is, that there is basically light at the end of the tunnel. And this is why I put the stuff out there that I do.
Amen. And, you know, just in what you said there, that is a lot. That is a lot for anybody to deal with. And yet you're here today and you are standing. Yes. And I know that you're saying about the word strong, but you are standing strong. Yes. Okay, because, you know, you might have got knocked down and you felt like you couldn't get back up, but you are up. You are here and you're telling your story, which is beautiful to share with other people as well. So how, from that place that you were of, it was darkness for you? Complete darkness, yeah. Complete darkness for you. You questioned many things regarding you being a mother and a wife. And may I just say, I think that most people do. You know, if I'm to be honest here, because we're speaking the truth, I question as well, like, Lord, am I really doing a great job? Am I, like, you know, is there things that I should be improving on, or I feel like I haven't done as well as maybe I should have been? And sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves. And, you know, one thing that comment that Les Brown, motivational speaker, says.
Love Les Brown. Love Les Brown.
He says, the devil is a liar and his breath stinks.
I love that. Yes.
That is my... I love that phrase because it's so true. It's so true. It is so true because you know what? We do try our hardest and we do love our children, but sometimes challenges come. So at this point now, you're going through this situation with your son, and I'm sorry to hear of that tragedy for you and your family. But what steps did you take to get to where you are today?
Okay. So it got to a point where, you know, it wasn't that I was just functioning. You know, you have that word where people say like you're living. I actually generally wasn't living. I was just functioning. So, you know, everything was just ticking over. And I remember one day just sitting on my sofa at home, and at the time Lorenz must have been about 4 or 5, don't quote me on the age. And I remember sitting on the sofa and just crying uncontrollably. And I remember him, so remember we're the parents, so in our mind we're thinking, I'm supposed to be here looking after you. And I remember him coming over on the sofa and him saying to me, he said, oh Mum, don't cry, it's okay. Everything's gonna be all right, I wanna look after you. And for me, that was like a pivotal turn, because I said to myself, you know, for him, he's my son. I'm your mum. And like I said, I'm supposed to be looking after you. And that's when I knew that I had to sort myself out. I had to work out, like my relationship had broken down, you know, myself and Michael had separated. My finances were a mess. You know, like when you go out in the public, because you don't want anybody in your private space. So you're like, yeah, everything's cool, everything's fine. But really, when and truly, it wasn't. But my son, like my firstborn, I will never forget that day, him saying that to me, was when I knew I had to make change. So from that, I remember going on like forums online and working out, like reading things to try and, what things can I do to kind of help me through things, like saying to God, like, just put me on somewhere that I can begin to like see a light, begin to work on myself. And then that's when I started reading. I went onto forums with people that were going through the same thing as myself. And that's where I kind of like more worked out that going to the gym wasn't just a place that you can go to try and get yourself slim and trim. It's a place where, you know, you can go and you can work out and start feeling great about yourself and all that kind of stuff. So that's where it all started, from Lorenz giving me that message. So I believe God trying to channel that to him. And I believe that message came to me, and I believe that feeling I had to feel from my child for God to say, listen, you got work to do.
Can I just interject there?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is why children are a gift from God. They are our blessings to keep and to look after. I believe that was the message from God.
Yeah.
As you was there speaking, I was thinking years back when I had something going on in my life, and I too was there, and I was, really upset. I was crying. I was in a state. My young little daughter came to me and said similar words as well. And you just know when you know that is from the throne room of God, that He is sending you a message like, girl.
Yes, for real.
You know, so even in your obedience, just saying, you know what, no, I need to do something about this. God is so good.
Yes.
God is so good. And that just shows, you know what, you are doing well. In your journey, you have done well, you are doing well, you will continue to do well. So that's what I just want to say there. I mean.
And I have to agree with that, because I think when you go through any trauma in life, any trauma, I feel it's a place of, you're going to be continuously healing. I don't think that word healed with the ED on the end is it.
Yeah.
I believe you're going to always be healing.
Come on.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then sometimes when you're able to adjust and reflect and learn something that you've gone through in a sense of trauma, sometimes other things might come to the surface. But because you've obviously had the little bit of knowledge, well, for me personally, I had the little bit of knowledge of, okay, cool, you've been through something. Life is going to be continuously rolling, going to be continuously going on. You're going to keep on going through things. But I feel as though I'm able to kind of take a minute, as opposed to trying to do everything all at once, just to take a minute. Like, what's God trying to tell me for the things that I'm going through?
Come on.
What message is He bringing? Because quite often enough, I do believe that the things that you go through have been sent for a reason. And as traumatic as it was, I do truly believe that He passed because some way or the other, we're supposed to say, in like relationships, 75% of relationships are not supposed to survive the loss of a child. Me and Michael are here, we're a black couple. We're here together at 19 years old. We had our child young, but we are here now strong. That's 75% of couples. You just don't, I never thought I'd go on to have, we'd go on to even have another child. So I believe it's just given me, what's the word I'm looking for? Resilience.
That's a good word.
Just give me resilience. It's taught me patience.
Yes.
It's taught me forgiveness. That's a big one.
Wow.
It's taught me forgiveness, because one of the things I really struggled to let go of was the nurse at the hospital for years and years. And I can actually honestly say probably during lockdown was the first time, probably we come off topic, but the first time one of the things I had to master was forgiveness, because I was quite an ignorant person. If you was to do me something, I'll be holding on to that. I will be holding on to it. And I think when you master forgiveness, it's a breath of fresh air. It's like you find yourself, you can breathe, and the person that I really, out of the whole entire thing, the person that I really found it the hardest to forgive was definitely the nurse. And the reason why I say that is because the day before Lawrence had passed away, we'd taken our son to the hospital, and we had said, like he's having problems in breathing, X, Y, Z, this, that, and the other. And the nurse at the hospital had more or less just dismissed us and said, oh, he's got a cold, take him home, and put some Vicks in the corner of the room. And then the next day, obviously, we took him back, and he was presenting the same symptoms. And it was that same day that he'd passed away. But what I struggled with the most was when we had to go to the, when someone's passed away, you have to go to, what do you call it where they like a court type of thing. And I remember her sitting on, she was up there and she had to give evidence. And one of the things that she said was that, let's just say that she lied. Let's just say that. And I'll never forget sitting in that chair, and Michael was sat next to me. And I remember Michael holding my hand. Because
Michael's your husband?
Yeah, well, fiance. And I'll be honest with you, I wanted to fly out. I was so angry, so upset. And, I wanted to fly out of the chair and just let loose. And I remember Michael holding my hand down. But I never forgave her for that. I never forgave her for sending my son home, even though we knew that what he had, which was acute myocarditis, isn't something that could be healed, but he could have been in hospital and been comfortable, you know? So forgiveness is one of the, I would say, the biggest thing that I can take away from that, because I generally can say, I forgive her. And that's a big deal for me. Amen. And in life, I feel as though everyone should master forgiveness.
And you know what? I absolutely agree with you, because when we hold unforgiveness as well, it's like a disease. It's like a terminal illness that eats away inside of you.
Yep.
And, you know, some people, they will say that they feel like forgiveness is just so that the other person that you're saying, I forgive you, feels better. But it's not. It's actually for your own release.
Yep.
To release, you know, whatever emotions. It's not easy. It's not easy. And it's a process.
Yeah.
It definitely is a process, but you need to start somewhere. And I believe that we do all need to master forgiveness, because forgiveness actually makes a person unwell.
It does.
It brings sickness to the body.
The person that you have, and I worked this out from the feet. If I say, like, for instance, I thought about it, I would get myself so riled up, and in a type of way that it's just wasn't right. But the minute that I said to myself, do you know what, Lord, like, you know, just help me here, and forgave her, I did generally feel like an ease, at peace. That's the word, at peace. And you're right, it does. It eats the individual up, because they might not even know you're thinking about them. They don't care.
Yes.
But you were all there hecking up yourself.
Yeah.
So forgiveness is a big, big one for me.
Absolutely. So when did, you know, because I've seen as well, you go in hard when it comes to the fitness. I'm telling you, you inspire me. You inspire me. You know, recently I've just started going to
phenomenal body. Gonna listen. I might listen.
Listen, I want to put some muscles up on this body. You know, I'm going in there and I'm feeling like.
It's interesting to see how people actually feel about their individual selves. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, look, I'm here, and I'm clearly like a plus size woman, but I'm here to say, listen.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I'm here to say, listen. Yeah, I'm working on reducing my size for health reasons, but I'm telling you, the gym and what it does for your mind.
Listen.
Something different.
Listen.
Yeah, I get up at 4:45 in the morning. Woo. I'm in the gym for 6 a.m.
Wow.
And I carry on my day after that. It sets my day up magically.
Wow.
And that's one of the things I put into my routine. That's been a game changer. So when you see me put on the glove pads and I'm on that bag.
You are serious. I mean, with me, I've started to go like to fitness classes, and I'm telling you, I just feel like such a release.
For real.
You know, before I was just feeling all, and I thought the Lord was saying, you need to go and work on yourself. And work on yourself. And
we do all these to-do lists.
Yes.
But when do we really put ourselves in that? And that's when I had to adjust. For real.
Yeah.
I had to be a better mum, to be a better partner, to be a better daughter, to be a better everything. I knew I had to work on myself. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yes. I knew I had to. Yes. And that was just the beginning. So now when I post things, it is definitely about self-love, empowerment, and being real as well. Yeah, come on. Because a lot of the times people, they might not say what they've gone through, but you will just see the ending. But what did you do to get there? Yes. That's the problem that I find with sometimes in society. Like, you need to, like, you got these young guys here that are here and they're filming today, and they've obviously built themselves, just coming off track a bit, they've obviously built themselves up from the business. But I guarantee if I was to sit down after here and have a conversation, there's been some hiccups, there's been a journey, but you're here now and you faced your challenges, right? That's the word I'm going to use.
Yes.
You faced your challenges, but I think it's important to get that out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And keeping it real. And you're right, you're so right. I mean, when it comes to social media, you see all the prettiness, all the lovely pictures and everything.
Honey, I will be on there with no wig on sometimes.
I love it. I love it. You're there, you're just like, I am keeping this real. You know, I have not got no time to play games. And that's what encourages people and motivates people. Like, this woman keeps it real. You going hard. When I see you throw them punches, I'm like, Lord.
And I'll tell you a story behind that as well. release. I'm just going to use the word release. So for me personally, when I first started boxing, sometimes I'd be boxing, and I remember someone saying to me like, "You're as strong as an ox." And it wasn't until one time I was really just sat in the garden and I was trying to not even trying, I was just generally just thinking. And I realized sometimes when I was on that bag, I was actually, with every single punch and I was releasing. I realized I was releasing, and that is where my obsession with boxing came along. Because without even knowing it, that's what I was doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So even now, I could be going, so I could have had an argument with Michael in the morning. He would have got on my nerves. I've gone to the gym. And I've worked out, I've been on the bag. Hey baby, you okay? I had a conversation, I feel good now. I can say I'm sorry. Like I messed up. So
that's your release, it's your outlet, yeah.
And everyone some people read books, some people go for walks, some people go do yoga. I mean, some people might want to go, I don't know, whatever it is for you. You just need to find what you can plug into and just keep it plugged.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I absolutely agree. Now, one thing, with a lot of people in the world, but specifically I'll speak about, women, is self-love. I know that, you, on your Instagram posts, you do promote about self-love, and it's so important. With yourself, could you just share with us what self-love looked like for you, or the lack of self-love looked like for you, some time ago? Or have you always been so tight with yourself? Because when I see you, I know you love yourself. When I see you, you love yourself. You are tight with yourself. Lots of people, they break up with themselves. They don't want to know themselves. They need to get to know themselves. And it could be through a whole heap of situations or circumstances that happened, I'm sure that most people have been in that place of where they're just really not feeling themselves.
Yeah.
So how did that look like for you?
I liked what you said. I definitely had to break up with myself to then make up with myself, period. And I look back and I think to myself, the things that you allowed, you definitely didn't love yourself.
Wow, come on now.
The things that you allow, you definitely did not love yourself, because half of the things that I would have probably accepted then, you'd be damn well sure that I don't accept it now. And I don't apologize for it either.
Come on.
I think self-love is a combination of peace, acceptance, your flaws as well. Like, we all have flaws. And one of the things that I had to do, I had to write a list. And that even involved me asking loved ones, look, you know what, I'm going to ask you to send me something. I need you to send me 5 things that you think are great about me, but I also need you to send me 5 things that I could improve on or aren't necessary. Because a lot of the times we don't want to look on ourselves.
Come on.
We just see what the good parts are, but we all have bad parts. And a lot of the times I feel as though not everyone wants to address that. But I believe it needs to be addressed for you to become a better person. You're never going to be perfect, but you can definitely work on that. So self-love for me is definitely acceptance of who I am right now. I'm constantly changing, constantly evolving, quiet downtime. Self-love for me is affirmations. Self-love for me is books. Self-love for me is giving love. Self-love for me is God's above everything else.
Come on now, hallelujah.
Self-love is just a nice big pot of all these, it's a pot of niceness while you're dissecting the bad parts as well. It's just,
Okay.
But like I said, I definitely, it wasn't always like that. And like I said, the things that I used to accept, you wouldn't even get past the word go with any type of nonsense in the sense of that,
And that's why it's so important to be truthful to yourself. And many people don't want to visit those areas where they feel exposed.
I definitely was exposed, 100%. And it's nice actually, because Michael, with me and my fiance, a couple of weeks ago, he said, the woman that you've turned into from where you were. And that meant a lot coming from him, because like I said, we've been together since we were teenagers. So you can imagine, you know, you have your respect. So for him to say, look, baby, you know, I can see the change in you. Yes. And I can also see him doing certain things that reflect what I do. Oh, wow. Because he's seen what an improvement has done on me. So to see him taking that on because he wants to improve as well, it's a big deal. It's a real big deal.
That is awesome. And I'll just say, you know, seeing both of you, you definitely are connected. And congratulations on your engagement as well.
It's been a while, but yeah, thank you.
We will get there, Michael. Make sure you get there, please. That is so, it's fantastic. I love families. Yeah. I love. I mean, I was just speaking about, you know, weddings. I love weddings. I love when people can, you know, just come together in love. You know, especially in a time where there's a lot of things going on and people don't want to commit. That's it. Commitment. It's a big thing that people run away from. Commitment to other people, commitment to projects, commitment to themselves, you know, and that is what is lacking in this world, commitment.
It's true. The biggest thing that you can ever work on is yourself. The biggest thing that you can ever work on yourself, because I would honestly say working on myself has made me a better friend, a better wife, a better mother. It's made me better. It's made me better at making decisions, an all-rounder. But it does always begin with you. If you ain't going to be working on yourself or you don't want to address the things, completely up to you, but you're just going to be here.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you're going to be, you know, going at 100 miles an hour. It's not even about that. Taking the baby steps just to embracing yourself and becoming the next person that God wants you to be or he has there.
It's about progressing.
Yeah, definitely.
Progressing, not regressing, but progressing.
That's one of my favorite words, progress.
Me too.
Yeah, one of my favorite words. Because, you know, it doesn't mean that you got to be going at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Just tiny baby steps.
Tiny little baby steps.
And journal, that's another thing as well, I forgot to mention, journaling. So if I look back at some of the things that I'd written, say maybe, even if we mentioned a year ago, sometimes you might get to a point where you're like, oh, you know, I don't even know. You might not even feel like you've progressed as much as you can. But one of the things that I've loved doing is like writing about my journey. So when I look back and if I read something from maybe 2 years ago, and I can read something that even reading it then, I'm like, oh my God, to now, that's another way to, that I've found worked for me in regards to, keeping my progress in check. You know, but being honest with that journaling too. So if you've had a crap day, you've had a crap day. If you had to curse someone out, you had to curse someone out. You know, it's journaling and being authentic and being honest with yourself, and then being able to look back on it and say, well, I did that.
And the very fact that you made it through this day, and you know, you may have been going through a situation that would knock a lot of people down, even tear them down, and you still got through your day, and you managed your household, you managed to be at work. You know, that in itself, give thanks for.
I'm very, very, very grateful. I'm grateful to the people that I had around me at the time. I'm grateful. First and foremost, I'm grateful to the Most High. Because in quiet moments, the conversations that we had, you know, he put me through it. But sometimes I feel but he put me through it, and he brought me through it too. And I understand now as to why. And I'm grateful. Me and Riley, me and my youngest son, we passed where we used to live in the week. And obviously, as you can imagine, it wasn't a great time where we used to live before that. And Riley said to me, he goes to me, do you regret like having to like live where you were before? And I remember I sat in the car drive and I thought about it, and I said to him, you know what, no. I said, because there was a lot of lessons that was learned from being in that house to where we are now. Even though it was all bad, I learned from them.
Yeah, come on now, come on.
Do you remember that, Riley, when we was coming home?
Wow.
And I said, no, because I stopped it. I goes, no, because I learned from them. When I look at it back at it now, I learned a lot. So no regrets.
And that is so important. That is so key, because that's what life is about. It's about learning.
For real.
And even if we look at, you know, what people call as failures in life, whether it's through business or something else or whatever, or they feel like they haven't progressed on as much as they should do, it's lessons to be learned. Okay, what have you learned from here, and what are you going to take? What lessons have you learned to go forward?
Yeah.
And that's what people need to learn, and don't give up on themselves, on themselves. I mean, like I said, you're here today because you did not give up on yourself. You're here today because of God, yes. But he gives you a decision, he gives you a choice.
He does.
You have a choice to make.
I love that.
Yeah. And you made that choice and said, you know what, I am going to live. You gave me life. You breathed life into me so that I will live, and I'm going to do it abundantly. And because you have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
That love you, that need you. And because you make such a big impact on other people's lives as well. It's not just about you. And that's what we get so consumed with sometimes, is that it's just about us. But God said, I need you to get up. I need you to go on with yourself, because there are people waiting on you. Even 2 years, 5 years down the line,
absolutely,
somebody is waiting on you.
And that's why I choose to have conversations like this, because of what you've just said. Because you realize that it is never really about you. Whatever you go on to do, Power Mouth isn't about you.
Ooh,
the people that you will go on to speak to, and the people that will see, it's gonna be a positive impact. This is why I said yes to it.
Yeah.
So I do believe that it's never really about you. Even if you're sitting down there and you're given a 10 o'clock news, it's not about you. You're delivering to the people that
come on, absolutely.
If you're a pastor in the church, okay, cool, you might be getting a check, but you got a message to give to the masses.
And you better give the right message too.
For real.
You better give the right message too.
And your people will, whoever it is for, they'll find you if they need to.
Yes. Yeah. And that is so true. And I love that. I feel like there is absolute truth in that. Sometimes you feel like you're stuck in a place where nobody seems to be kind of recognizing what you're doing, but there is a time where it will turn around and switch around, and people's gonna recognize what you're doing. So you need to just keep on in there in what you're doing. You have to keep on moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the quiet times as well. So in the quiet times, I'm able to more just hear in amongst getting all the hustle and the bustle. I had to kind of just learn to quiet my mind, because sometimes your mind can just be doing overtime. But when I quiet my mind, that's when I can get a message. Yes. And they're always Can I share a story with you?
Please.
I remember a few years ago, I had a dream. And in the dream, God had said to me, you need to hold an event. And I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, what do you mean I need to hold a charity event? And what he said to me in the dream, he said to me, you need to hold an event, and you need to hold it in memory of your son and raise money for charity. And I remember I woke up and I phoned my friend Patrice. I said, Patrice, I just had this dream, and blah, 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 blah. She said, well, girl, you know what you need to do. And I remember, so that was actually another time where I said to myself, do you know what, okay, God, you sent me a message. I'm going to pay attention to what you're saying. And that was actually the first event that myself and my family held in memory of Lawrence, and we raised money for the British Heart Foundation. And I will tell you this as well, every single thing that you think could go wrong went wrong. But the blessings that came afterwards were 10 times better than what it would have been.
Come on.
That's what I will say.
Nice.
Michael, can you touch on that one there? 10 times better. So you need to, everyone believes in something,
yes,
or whether you don't or what have you. I believe there's a higher power. For me, it's God's, and I'm still working on I'm still working on being obedient.
Yes,
I'm still working on being obedient. Still working on listening. Still working on trying to be a better person. But when I'm able to tap in, and I pay attention, magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely. The blessings of God flows, and that's why I always say obedience is linked to your blessings.
Yes,
it is linked to your blessings. Sometimes we choose to say to God, well, no, not now, or maybe later. But he wants us to kind of act on it now, because he wants to just unleash a whole load of blessings upon our lives,
Yeah.
And we're stopping him from doing that. We're stopping him from doing that. So obedience is absolutely
through fear.
key.
But do you think that's sometimes fear?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. fear plays a big part. That's why I'll say it again in the words of Les Brown.
Yeah.
The devil is a liar and his breath stinks.
That's gonna be my new one in my household. That would drive my lot crazy.
I love it. I will remind myself of that phrase, and I will just laugh about it because it's so true. It's
real.
nothing pretty or nice is coming out of their enemy's mouth, and so.
Say I have fear maybe on a daily basis.
Yes, listen,
natural.
We are keeping it real.
Yeah, I fear it. And like the daily, there's a lot of time. Fear is definitely can be a dream killer.
Yes,
it can be. But I always say I read this thing and it basically said that your future is within you. It's not in front of you. It's actually within you, and it's addressing.
Woo.
Bringing that up to the surface, so then you're able just to kind of become the person that you were born to be. None of us are born to be ordinary. I don't believe that.
No, absolutely. Listen, the way I see it, we are wonderfully, fearfully made, okay?
Amen.
So unique in our DNA and everything, God knew what he was doing when he made us. There's uniqueness. We are unique, okay? So we need to go forward. We're not just ordinary. I always say that I do not want to get old and be a bitter person. You see, I love the older generation. I've left my 30s as well, so I'm climbing up. But making sure when I'm climbing up, I do not want to be bitter.
Yeah.
I do not want to be bitter. I want to be able to say that I've done this, or I've achieved that, or I've blessed somebody with this, I think that is so important.
The little things count. When you said about bless, it could be paying somebody a compliment. It could be making a telephone call or sending someone a message. If they've passed your mind, drop them a message. The simple things, man, for real.
It is. Blessings aren't always linked with finances. Okay?
Exactly.
And we all know that, yes, it's nice to have finances, and quite a bit of it, but ultimately that does not make a person happy. It is love. It is love. And I don't care how kooky it sounds, when people say love makes the world go round and everything, and it's love. It is love.
Love and money. Let's mix. We'll make
okay, love than money, because if you don't have the love, what have you got?
Yeah, for real, it's so true.
I've heard tragic stories of people and they have so much money, and
you've got no one to share it
no one to share it with. Or they don't even love themselves.
Empty.
Yeah, empty. And who wants that? So my next question to you is, what brings you joy?
What brings me joy?
What brings you joy?
Okay, it might sound my family.
Yes.
Like my family, gospel music. Oh my gosh, working out. I'm gonna be honest with you, the boxing pads and ring, working out.
I see that.
And speaking to people. One of the things that makes me keep on sending a message is the messages that I receive. And it could be something as simple as, you really encouraged me to, or thank you for. Those messages, I literally will hang on to them because they generally do bring me joy. For real. So for that, yeah.
And you know what? When you encourage somebody, I always believe when you encourage somebody, you will be encouraged also. I mean, I don't know if you've been in a place where you've encouraged somebody. By the time you finish encouraging them, you're hyped. You're just like, I feel encouraged too. Whatever I was going through, I feel encouraged as well.
Yeah.
So it's so important,
Yeah, those things bring me joy. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And Galaxy.
Chocolate. Okay, you took it there. You took it there. Is that Galaxy the chocolate?
Galaxy chocolate.
Oh wow, come on. I mean, when I was asking you that question, I was thinking to myself, food was on the top of my list. I love my food, even if it doesn't look like it, I do. I love my food.
We were speaking about food on the way down here. I think we spotted a was it a wholesaler shop? And Riley was already like, okay, cool, we're going in there straight afterwards. We're a family that loves food.
Yes, I think that's a beautiful thing. I
Yeah.
think that's lovely when all of you, you enjoy doing things together.
Yeah. Them two, my hubby and Riley, the youngest one, they love cooking together.
Oh.
They're always in the kitchen cooking up something.
Okay, hubby and my youngers, can you love cooking together and get in the kitchen, please?
They're always cooking up a little something, so it's all good.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah, those are the things I'd say that brings me joy.
Yeah, and you know what? It's simple things, but the things that keep you breathing and keep you living.
Absolutely. And books as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love audible.
Yeah, me too.
Listening to a good book. And actually, I would say Les Brown as well. So in the morning time, I love to put on something like that in the morning to get me pumped.
Yes.
And one of the people that I would put on sometimes would be Les Brown. So
he is awesome. And so what vision do you have yourself? What is your future vision for what you're doing?
one of the things that we said that we wanted to do is that we said that our son didn't pass in vain. So our objective is to create a foundation in Lawrence's name, and the foundation that we create will go on to raise money for children's charities. So the next one we're hoping to put out will be for sickle cell. And so anything to do with children, anything to do with that, whatever events that we hold in the future going forward, ultimately the goal is to have a foundation in memory of him, but raises money for the greater good.
And that is
Super Lawrence, we call him, because we believe that that's why he passed, and that's something. Then I couldn't see it. I was blinded to that, but we believe that he passed because he needs to make a difference. His name, his story needs to make a difference.
Come on.
So that's one of the things that we say. When we're writing down our goals, one of the things that I would be writing down if I'm doing my gratitude list is that. So yeah, that's where we're going. That's what we're aiming to do.
And that is beautiful, and that's why you being where you are at now in your journey is so important to the things that is going to come from you. Yeah. By God's grace, because you're not doing it by yourself. It's the strength of God.
Definitely.
Having your loving family with you as well. And it's, everything that you have been through is not in vain. It definitely is not in vain, and you have helped. I'm not going to say you are going to, because you have. It has already started. Sometimes we feel like when we hold this event or whatever, then that's when it started. You have already started. Like you said, you received messages from people already because you have impacted their lives, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, what would you say to anyone that maybe has gone through some form of trauma, and everybody's trauma is different. Everybody's trauma is like, when you withhold all your feelings.
Yeah.
And what would you say to somebody that they feel stuck where they are? They feel in a place of darkness. They can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, basically. And in fact, they may feel like they want to give up on life. Because let's just keep it all the way 100% real, okay? There are many people who are feeling down, they're feeling depressed. And depression don't always look like how we think it looks like. Depression isn't just somebody lying in bed with a duvet cover over them or whatever. Yes, that can be a form of it, and don't want to eat this and that. It could be somebody that is outright in front of the camera, lively as anything, but when they get home, when they get in their own personal space, that's when they fall to pieces. Because everything else that they did in front of the camera, in front of people, it was facade. They put on a mask.
That was me. Yeah.
Here I am. That's many people.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a weight.
Yes.
It's a burden.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what advice or encouragement would you give to somebody that finds themselves in that position?
Number one, your journey is always going to be different to somebody else's. There's no rush on anything that, there's no rush on grief. It's something that you generally, in all honesty, it's something that you're always going to have with you. There's no rush on it. Communication as well. If you are in a relationship like we are, one of the things that we did not do is we did not communicate. So communication is definitely a massive one. Taking time out and being vocal to people. If you don't want to see somebody, you don't have to see them. I actually felt like it would be rude of me to not have people around, or rude of me to not pick up the phone, but it's okay not to do that. Everything is okay.
Yeah.
You don't think about anybody for a moment, just think about yourself. Trust the process and take it day by day. It's really difficult because like I said, everyone's journey is always going to be different. But if I could go back and know the things that I know now, I definitely would have communicated. I definitely would have not put on a mask and have feeling like I have to be out there and speaking to people and what have you. I definitely just would have taken time, because there are a few things that I wouldn't say regret, because now that our eldest son is older, we've been able to have a conversation where he more understands. But yeah, those will probably just be the key ones that I could say. Communicate, trust the process, know that where you are at that moment in time, whether it takes a year, 2 years, 10 years or what have you, it will improve.
Improve, yeah.
That's what it is, the word, it will improve.
Not get better, but improve.
Just improve.
Improve.
It's going to take some time. It will definitely take some time. I think sometimes you have the odd ones of, you might something's happened to someone and you hear the same questions over and over and over and over again. Well, of course they're not going to be okay, you know?
Yeah.
And then, just that's one of the main ones I would say. Communication, and just knowing that over time it will improve. You're never going to get over it, to be honest, but you will be able to improve and live, which is what God wants. Live. That's the key word. Live. And not just exist with time.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of people are just feel like they're just existing, and they're not living, and it's got a lot to do with fear.
And I want to say as well, I don't have it all together. I'm here and I'm standing, and I'm grateful, and but I do not have it all together. Because like I said, I feel like we are always constantly growing, always constantly evolving, and something else, and it's always teaching us something. So I just plan on taking it day by day, minute by minute, surrounding myself with great people as well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Careful with what I'm listening to and who I'm listening to, and then just embracing the moment and going with it. So I don't think none of us are ever perfect.
Nobody.
That's an illusion.
That is.
But I'm working on it daily.
That is. And it does take daily work. I mean, having you here has been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. Being here has been great.
Listen, like I said, I was looking forward to this interview. You did not disappoint. I'm telling you, you need to continue on. I know you're going to continue on. There's many, I don't even need to tell you that. There's many great things that is coming from you. And even what you put in the gym, I mean, you go hard in the gym. You do the same thing when it comes to encouraging and motivating people. So I cannot wait to see what else is going to, come from you, because you have been a blessing. Your family's beautiful, and you inspire me. You inspire me as well. So, just from this interview, I have been blessed. I have been absolutely blessed speaking to Joanne. If you do feel like you're in a place where, a place of darkness, and that you can't see the light, there is an escape from that place. There is an escape. You need to just trust the process and know that you will get through. You will get through. You don't have to stay where you are. Joanne did it. Many people have done it. Whatever grief that you go through, there is help around you. There is help that you can seek out. So
I have one more thing I want to say as well.
Please.
If you're going through that everyone around you, just remember the men. And I say that because I feel as though quite often a lot of people always focus on the mum.
Come on.
But the dad goes through things too. And I think a lot of the times they are just forgotten about. So if I could, that's one of the things what I would say. Someone else is hurting just as bad as you. And that's one of the things that I didn't see at the time. I was in my own bubble, my own world.
Yes.
So I would say that. I think in general, they're forgotten about. So we need to remember the men more.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because sometimes the focus can just be on the mother, because obviously we give birth to our children, but the men, the daddies,
they're
come
just
on.
as important.
Absolutely. 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 They are important. And, you know, this is what I mean. I just feel the love between you and Michael, because, I mean, that is such a sweet thing, even just to bring up and say, you know, because you two, your hearts are attached.
Yeah, they are.
Your hearts are definitely attached. And I just wish you all the best in your marriage that will be happening soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm looking at Michael. Please, can I have an invite to the wedding?
Of course, and to the event as well. Right? When we get the event up and rolling, I would love to invite you guys as well.
Oh, wow.
It's all going to be for a good cause.
Look at this.
So yeah, without a doubt. Of course. We're connected now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're connected. And if you want to connect with Joanne, then please check out her Instagram. It's Ms. JLo, which is MIZZLO80.
You could tell I created that time ago. I need to change that name. But yes, it's Ms. JLo80.
Miss JLo80, you know, come and be inspired, see what she's got going on there. I have been inspired. I love it. You are such a beautiful person.
Thank you.
And even though I hadn't even met you yet, I mean, when we saw each other today, we just reached out to each other and we just
embraced.
It's beautiful, for real. And this is the first time we're seeing each other in person, but it's just, when you know somebody, they're good. You're good. You're good, definitely. And just God bless you, bless your family. And thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for
having me.
Thank you for reaching out to people, because it's not easy. It's not easy, but you reach out to people in your strength. And there is strength there. Yeah, your strength cometh from the Lord.
I agree. Thank you.
There is strength there, and you reach out to people and you are making a big difference. So continue doing what you're doing. Love it. Love it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, darling. Power Mouths, thank you for tuning in, and make sure you tune in next time. Take care. If you like watching our Power Mouth interviews, press the button and subscribe.